For years on the channel, I've been looking for the ultimate Nerf P90. Now, there's been a lot of great offerings out there, but nothing's really quite hit the aesthetics and the feel and how the operation of the blaster should be. I think that's mainly due to how the actual P90 works. Essentially rotates its ammo in down to a firing chamber, and it has to do this in a very rapid succession. Translating that over to foam darts, there's a lot of problems there because foam just wants to bend and move around and get jammed. Now in the real steel world, the P90 is notorious for having jamming issues. Just imagine it being a foam dart, has all kinds of opportunities to get jammed. So with that in mind, I think we won't really see the perfect P90 type of blaster until one gets made with shells possibly. But I digress. The operation's one thing. I can get around a blaster that looks and feels like a P90, but maybe doesn't accept the magazine in a traditional sense. And that's where this comes in. This is A Sirius 747, and as you can see, it is very much inspired by the P90. With one difference, we have a Talon magazine that feeds in the bottom. But boy, look at those aesthetics. This thing just feels amazing. Every time I've played with a P90 type of gun in a game, it just always has this really cool aesthetic to it. Part of it is that it's a tight, compact bullpup design that you can really hug into it and get nice and close, making this the ideal form factor for like a CQB engagement. Now with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video where we're gonna take a look at this really amazing blaster. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Now this blaster was sent in from M4126 Gel Blaster, and I want to give a special thanks. If you'd like to pick up one of these, there will be links in the description. They sell these as kits, and I do believe you can actually print your own files, and I'll leave links for all that information in the description as well. Now the kit we received did have 3D printed parts along with the hardware and electronics, and installation was pretty simple. However, there were a few things where we had to file down, a little bit of trimming here and there. So keep in mind, this is a pretty much notorious thing across 3D printed blasters and kits and whatnot that you would get. There's still a lot of trimming, and maybe you gotta clean up some extra support material or file down parts or whatever the case might be. Just be mindful when you buy 3D printed kits, there's a little bit of extra work sometimes you have to do. It's not like when you buy an injection molded plastic kit from somewhere and you just expect for everything to perfectly fit together. Unfortunately, this technology is not quite there. We're getting there, but I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer. This blaster is designed by Yip, and he is responsible for the Wolf Core system. And I believe this is the Type A that's in here. The stock does slide back. You push this forward, open it up, and there you have it. You can see most of the Wolf Core right there. So you have a couple pairs of Worker Hurricane motors. You have a pusher system, which actually uses an angled 380 RPM, 90-degree motor, which actually acts as the pusher. It has a pretty fast firing rate, as you can see here. Could be a little faster, but it definitely gets the job done. I notice it's a lot easier to pop off one shot with this because of that not so fast fire rate. While we have this open, we might as well talk about this. Here is the barrel, and inside here we actually have a B-car. Now at first I wasn't sure if this is gonna help. It has a I don't even know if it has a degree. It looks like it's more of an alignment B-car, so it's just kind of straight. But because the barrel has been popped out and it's a lot wider than where it goes in, it doesn't impact the dart. In addition, he does have this airflow gap here, which in my opinion really helps a dart traveling down a faux barrel. A misconception with Nerf flywheel blasters is that, a nice long barrel with some rifling in there will help it. Unfortunately, that's not how this technology works. Accurate flywheel blasters are actually ones with no barrel, because when it comes off of a perfectly aligned flywheel, that's what really determines the accuracy. But a B-car, an alignment tool, or a P-car, or some type of correction device can help to some degree. No pun intended. Like I said earlier, it's got the Worker Hurricane wheels along with the Worker Neodymium 130 size motors. The blaster doesn't have any select fire whatsoever, it's just full auto. And as you can see earlier, it's not the fastest full auto fire rate, but it's still pretty decent. Now, fortunately, I had a game this weekend and I got this in the hands of some other players. Special thanks to Tusks, who ran this for quite a bit. I was able to grab some footage, and Tusks actually really loved this thing. I was really questioning the accuracy of it, and it sounds like, yeah, this B-car does help this thing become more accurate. Now, last time I reviewed a Yip blaster, I did notice it did not have the B-car installed, and it really was not as accurate as I wanted it to be. So I'm happy to see this wolf core design with a B-car, and yes, it definitely does increase accuracy. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, the aesthetics of this are just wonderful. I absolutely love how this looks. There is actually a V2 of this blaster, which I'm gonna print, build, and review on the channel. And it basically takes this design. I'm sure he does a little bit more fine tuning, but man, this thing looks like it's taken straight out of like the cyberpunk universe, and it looks phenomenal. I will say this one has more of a sleek aesthetic and probably looks more in line with an actual P90, and I'm totally digging that. A couple things I really like about this design in particular is the adjustable stock. It's a 3-position adjustable stock, and it feels really nice. This did require quite a bit of sanding, so keep that in mind just to make sure everything feels and is nice and smooth. You also can benefit from a little bit of slug slime or some lubricant in there. If you want to open up this top section, you do have to fully extend the buttstock. If you want to get to the battery tray, you do take this out, in which you can get to the back battery compartment. Battery compartment could be a little bit bigger in my opinion, but it's definitely adequate. And here is my main gripe, and this could just be this particular build, maybe the print tolerances, maybe something was sanded a little bit too much or whatnot, but I had a little bit of trouble of how sensitive this magazine is. If you touch this at all, you'll drop your mag. Now, that is pretty cool in the sense that, you know, when you're done, you just basically tap it and the mag's out. But during games, it did feel a little bit unnatural as to how much attention I had to give this magazine to make sure I didn't bump it. But other than that, it actually performed very well. We did a variety of different game types yesterday, and this is pretty amazing considering it wasn't quite a comp game, but it was definitely a practice game to get our local teams ready for comp. So for this thing to actually keep up and do decent, that's saying something. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is a comp blaster. Unfortunately, the accuracy just isn't quite where it needs to be, and that fire rate just needs to be a little bit faster, and the overall blaster should be a little bit more snappy for comp. But for casual play, this thing is awesome. Now this setup right here is running off of a 3S LiPo, and I did get some chronograph readings off of standard Gen 3s, and for the most part, it did pretty well. It's not a super high performer, and generally you'll see numbers on 3S LiPo from 125 to 130 FPS with a fire rate of 5 darts per second. In summary, I'm really happy to have this blaster. It's super cool. If you like how this looks, head on over to M4126 Gel Blaster and pick one up. Now, like I said earlier, you can actually print your own. And if you would like to follow Hang Yip for other future projects he's working on, because he has a lot of stuff in the pipeline, I'll leave a link to his Facebook page and his YouTube channel. Well, I'm DrFlux. I want to thank you for watching today's video. As always, be safe and happy foam flinging.